Hello, welcome to the video class on word formation. So we already had 2 or 3 classes on morphology, and we said morphology is the study of morphemes, and morphemes combine together to form words. And now in this video we will look at different ways in which new words are formed in a language with special reference to English because that is our subject. In linguistics, word formation, the term word formation refers to the ways in which new words are created on the basis of other words or morphemes. So there are some existing words and either they combine with other words or morphemes and create new words, or there are some other methods through which new words are formed. So whatever these methods are to create new words, all those are together called methods of word formation. And we have already studied some methods of word formation in the third lecture on morphology, that is affixation and compounding. So we said there is inflectional and derivational in order to create new words, and so that is affixation. And compounding is when two or more free morphemes come together to form a new word. So these we have already studied, but still we will go through that in very quickly in this lesson. But apart from that, there are other methods of word formation such as conversion, abbreviation, blending, back formation, borrowing, and coining. So we will start with what we know. Affixation. Affixation is the first method of word formation, and it refers to the process of forming new words by adding bound morphemes or affixes to the beginning or the end of a free morpheme using it as a stem. സോ ഒരു എക്സിസ്റ്റിംഗ് ഫ്രീ മോർഫീമിനെ ഒരു സ്റ്റെം ആയി ഉപയോഗിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് അതിലേക്ക് അഫിക്സസിനെ ആഡ് ചെയ്യുക. അത് സ്റ്റെമ്മിൻ്റെ മുന്നിലാവാം അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അതിന് ശേഷമാവാം, പ്രിഫിക്സ് ആയിട്ടോ സഫിക്സ് ആയിട്ടോ ആവാം. ആ പ്രോസസ്സിൽ കൂടെ അഫിക്സസ് ആഡ് ചെയ്യുന്ന പ്രോസസ്സിൽ കൂടെ പുതിയ വേർഡ്സിനെ ക്രിയേറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നതിനാണ് നമ്മൾ അഫിക്സേഷൻ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. ആൻഡ് ദർ ആർ 2 methods of affixation. First one is inflection. That is when a change is made in the form of a word to express its relation to other words in a sentence. Inflectional affixes are always suffixes in English. So here, when we add an inflectional affix, we don't change the entire meaning of the word, we just expand the meaning of the word. Again, it doesn't change the class of the word. ഏത് പാർട്ട് ഓഫ് സ്പീച്ച് ആണ് എന്നുള്ളത് ചേഞ്ച് ചെയ്യുന്നില്ല. ബട്ട് റാദർ ദർ ഇസ് എ സിൻടാക്റ്റിക് സിഗ്നിഫിക്കൻസ്, ദർ ഇസ് എ ഗ്രാമാറ്റിക്കൽ സിഗ്നിഫിക്കൻസ് ടു ദിസ് inflection. That means, for example, if you say I go and he goes, so the decision whether to put go or goes, both mean the same thing actually. Meaning wise, they are exactly the same. But the inflection goes, es added to the word go, actually signifies a grammatical relation. If it is I, you never add es. Only if it is he, she, it. So it actually shows a certain grammatical relation. And inflections commonly seen in English are markers in terms of person, number, tense, or case. So we have already given some examples for this in the previous lecture. You can revisit that for more detail. The second method of affixation is called derivation, which is the process by which new words are formed from existing words through affixation. So inflection ആണെങ്കിൽ എക്സിസ്റ്റിംഗ് വേർഡിനെ ഫുള്ളായി മാറ്റുക, പുതിയൊരു വാക്കാക്കി മാറ്റല്ല ചെയ്യുന്നത്, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അതിൻ്റെ മീനിങ് കംപ്ലീറ്റ്ലി മാറ്റല്ല ചെയ്യുന്നത്. ഇൻഫ്ലെക്ഷൻ ആകുമ്പോൾ ജസ്റ്റ് അതിൻ്റെ മീനിങ് നമ്മൾ എക്സ്പാൻഡ് ചെയ്യാണ്. പക്ഷേ ഡെറിവേഷനിൽ ത്രൂ affixation we are creating a completely new word. And derivation is of 2 types, again as we studied in the previous lecture. It can be class changing or class maintaining. Class changing derivation means that the existing word and the new word that is formed through affixation both belong to completely different word classes or different parts of speech. For example, we have the word predictable, that is formed from predict. But predict is a verb and predictable is an adjective. Or second example, worker, which is a noun that is formed from the verb work. So these are examples of class changing derivations. The second kind of derivation is class maintaining, which means that the existing word and the new word both belong to the same word class or the same part of speech. Examples are destabilize and stabilize. So stabilize is a word, it's a verb, and to which you add eyes, the affix, and we get a new word that is destabilize, which is also a verb. So existing word stabilize and new word destabilize are both verbs. Then again, possible and impossible. Possible is an adjective, you add the affix im and you get impossible, which is also an adjective. So that is derivation. So affixation is of two types, inflection and derivation. Now the next method of word formation, again this is something we have studied in the third morphology lecture. It is called compounding. Basically compounding is the formation of compound words, and we said compound words are words in which there are two or more free morphemes combined together. So here compounding refers to the formation of new words by combining two or more bases, two or more stems, two or more free morphemes, and there can be more also. There can be two free morphemes and maybe one or two bound morphemes, that is also possible. And there are some examples given here. In the case of nouns, we have words like car park, rock band, etc. So car plus park, car park. Rock plus band, rock band. Adjectives, heartbreaking, sugar-free, air sick. Verbs such as oven bake, babysit, chain smoke. And adverbs such as good-naturedly, nevertheless, etc. These are all examples of compound words, and the process of forming compound words is called compounding. Now, another method of word formation is conversion. Now, in conversion, there is no affixation involved. No words are combined. Conversion just involves the change of a word from one word class to another. So the same word, you don't add anything to it, you just use it as a different part of speech. So if it is a noun, you use it as a verb, or if it is a verb, you use it as a noun, etc. For example, there were nouns like email and microwave. From that, we get the verbs to email someone or to microwave something. So here, we are not changing the words email and microwave. We are just converting them by using the nouns as verbs. സാധാരണ നൗണായി ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്ന വാക്കുകളെ അങ്ങനെ തന്നെ എടുത്ത് വേർബായി ഉപയോഗിക്കുക. അതാണ് കൺവേർഷൻ. അല്ലെങ്കിൽ വേർബിനെ നൗണായിട്ട്, it can be changing any one part of speech into a different part of speech. But you don't change the word. You don't change the form of the word. You don't add any affixes to it. Therefore, it is also called zero suffixation. Affixation add ചെയ്യാതെ, affixes add ചെയ്യാതെ വേർഡിനെ മാറ്റുന്നതാണ് കൺവേർഷൻ. അതുകൊണ്ട് അതിനെ നമ്മൾ സീറോ സഫിക്സേഷൻ എന്നും വിളിക്കുന്നു. സം എക്സാമ്പിൾസ് ആർ ഗിവൺ ഹിയർ. Some downloads can damage your computer. So the word download is actually, initially it was a verb to download something. But here it is used as a noun. It is an example of conversion. Then I will text you. Text was actually a noun. But here it is used as a verb. I will text you. Then the next form of word formation is abbreviation. Abbreviation just means shortening a word. ഒരു വലിയ വാക്കിനെ ഷോർട്ട് ആക്കുക. അതിന് പല മെത്തേഡ്സ് ഉണ്ട്. വിച്ച് എവർ ഓഫ് ദീസ് മെത്തേഡ്സ് യൂസ്, ദേ ഓൾ ഫോൾ അണ്ടർ അബ്രീവിയേഷൻ. Now what are the methods under abbreviation? The first method is called clipping. Clipping just means cutting. ഇങ്ങനെ കട്ട് ചെയ്യുക. ഒരു വലിയ വാക്കിനെ ചെറുതായി അതിൻ്റെ ഒരു സെക്ഷൻ മാത്രം എടുക്കുക. അതാണ് ക്ലിപ്പിംഗ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. സോ വാട്ട് വി ഡു ഇസ് വി ഷോർട്ടൻ ഓർ ക്ലിപ്പ് വൺ ഓർ മോർ സിലബിൾസ് ഫ്രം എ വേർഡ്. അതിനെ ക്രോപ്പ് ചെയ്ത് കളയുക, അതിനെ ക്ലിപ്പ് ചെയ്ത് കളയാം. ആൻഡ് ക്ലിപ്പിംഗ് ഈസ് ഓൾസോ കോൾഡ് ട്രങ്കേഷൻ. ക്ലിപ്പിങ്ങിന് പറയുന്ന വേറൊരു വേർഡാണ് ട്രങ്കേഷൻ. ഇറ്റ് മീൻസ് എ സെയിം തിങ്. So examples are Advertisement is a large word. You clip it and you only retain the first syllable. So you make it ad. Advertisementന് പകരം നമ്മൾ ad എന്ന് പറയുന്നു. Then laboratory. It's a big word. You clip it to make it lab. Then you also sometimes clip proper names for people. ആളുകളുടെ പേര് നമ്മൾ ക്ലിപ്പ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് അവരെ ഇങ്ങനെ ഷോർട്ട് ഫോം ആയിട്ട് വിളിക്കും, നിക് നെയിം ആയിട്ടൊക്കെ വിളിക്കും. An example here is somebody whose name is Matthew might be called Matt. Somebody whose name is David might be called Dave, etc. So these are some examples of abbreviation through clipping. Then the second method of abbreviation is the use of acronyms. Now, acronyms are a type of abbreviation that are formed when the initial letters of two or more words are combined in a way that produces consonant and vowel sequences found in words, which just means that you take a set of words and you take the initial letters, the first letters of each word, put them together, and then you pronounce it as a single word. Acronyms are normally pronounced as words. So for example, in computer science, in the computer there is something called random access memory. It is written as RAM. R from random, A from access, M from memory, RAM. So you don't pronounce it as RAM, you pronounce it as RAM. Similarly, we have UNESCO, UNICEF, etc., which are acronyms formed by using the first letter of each word. NATO, right? All these are such acronyms. Now, there are other acronyms which are pronounced not as single words, but in which you pronounce each single letter. So, in some grammatical textbooks, they also fall under the category of acronyms. But some grammarians say that they are different from acronyms and they call it initials or initialism. Initialism എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഈ ഇനീഷ്യൽസ് യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. They are similar to acronyms, but instead of being pronounced as words, they are pronounced as sets of letters. So for example, WHO, the World Health Organization, it is not normally pronounced WHO. It is pronounced WHO. Each letter is spelled out. Each letter is pronounced. Then CD, DVD, compact disc, all these are CD. It is pronounced, each letter is pronounced. So again, both these can fall under acronyms, but some people say that acronyms are those which are normally pronounced as words like RAM, UNESCO, etc., and initials are those which are pronounced as sets of letters. Each letter is pronounced distinctly. So those are the different ways of abbreviation. The next form of word formation is blending. We form blends when we combine parts of existing words to form a new word. So for example, we have the word motel. Motel is a blend of motor plus hotel. But suppose you combine the two, motor and hotel, and made it motor hotel, that would have been an example of compounding. But instead, what we are doing is we take only the first syllable of motor, which is mo, and the last syllable of hotel, which is tail, and then you make it motel. Second one, smog, which is a blend of smoke plus fog. You take the sm from smoke and the og from fog, and you make it smog. Third one, brunch. It is a blend of breakfast and lunch. You take the br from breakfast and the unch from lunch, and you make it brunch. So sometimes again grammarians consider blending to be a form of abbreviation, because in order to blend two words, first you have to clip them. So motor plus hotel, motorne clip ചെയ്തിട്ട് mo ആക്കുന്നു, ഹോട്ടലിനെ ക്ലിപ്പ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് ടെൽ ആക്കുന്നു. എന്നിട്ട് സെക്കൻഡ് ഫേസ് ആയിട്ട്, സെക്കൻഡ് സ്റ്റെപ്പായിട്ട് അതിനെ നമ്മൾ ബ്ലെൻഡ് ചെയ്യുന്നു. അങ്ങനെ ചെയ്യുന്നതുകൊണ്ട് ചില ഗ്രമേറിയൻസ് ബ്ലെൻഡിങ് ഇസ് എ ഫോം ഓഫ് അബ്രീവിയേഷൻ എന്ന് പറയാറുണ്ട്. But you can also list blending as a separate form of word formation. The next method of word formation is back formation. We form words with back formation when we remove part of a word, usually something which we think is a suffix or prefix. So another way of saying this is that You take a long word and you remove an actual or imagined affix. So you take a word and you think that it has an affix, you remove that affix and use it as a new word. Affixation നേരെ opposite ആണ് back formation. But the difference is that usually what we remove in back formation are not actual affixes but rather imagined affixes. അഫിക്സ് അല്ല നമ്മൾ റിമൂവ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്, അഫിക്സ് ആണെന്ന് തോന്നുന്ന ഒരു സാധനം നമ്മൾ റിമൂവ് ചെയ്യുകയാണ്. അതിന് എക്സാമ്പിൾസ് പറഞ്ഞാൽ മനസ്സിലാവും. യൂഷ്വലി വി ഡു ദിസ് മോസ്റ്റ് കോമൺലി വെൻ വി ഫോം വേർബ്സ് ഫ്രം നൗൺസ്. ഒരു നൗണിൽ നിന്ന് എന്തെങ്കിലും ഒരു ഇമാജിനറി അഫിക്സ് നമ്മൾ റിമൂവ് ചെയ്ത് വേർബിനെ ഫോം ചെയ്യുമ്പോഴാണ് യൂഷ്വലി ഇത് ഉണ്ടാവുക. എക്സാമ്പിൾസ്: ദർ ഇസ് എ നൗൺ ലിയേസോൺ. ലിയേസോണിൽ നിന്ന് നമ്മൾ ടു ലിയേസ് എന്നുള്ള verb ഉണ്ടാക്കുന്നു. That is a back formation because usually we add on to the end of many words. So on looks like an affix, but here in the noun liaison, on is not an affix. It is just part of the word, but we remove that thinking it is an affix and we create a verb to liaise. Then there is a word intuition. We think with that ion looks like an affix, so we remove the ion and make it a verb to intuit. Then the next one is probably much more familiar to you. From the noun enthusiasm, we remove the asm and then we make it enthuse. So from the noun enthusiasm, we back form the verb to enthuse. These are examples of back formation. Then the next method of word formation is called borrowing. This is very simple. The words that are borrowed from other languages are called loan words, and this process of acquiring loan words is called borrowing. And many words related to food or dress or other aspects of culture are easily borrowed from other languages. Example, words that are borrowed into English from other languages include sushi, tapas, chapati, pizza, etc. These are all words from other languages. Pizza is from Italian, sushi is from Japanese, chapati is from Indian languages like Hindi, etc. And you know there are other words like bungalow, veranda, these are all jungle, these are all words that are borrowed into English from Hindi. So these are words that originally existed in one language but they are taken and borrowed into different language, and such words are called loan words, and this process is called borrowing. When we use loan words, we do not normally change them, although we can sometimes inflect them if they are countable nouns. So വാക്കിനെ നമ്മൾ വേറെ രീതിയിലൊന്നും മാറ്റില്ല, അങ്ങനെ തന്നെ എടുത്ത് ഉപയോഗിക്കുകയാണ് ചെയ്യുക. വേർഡ് ഇസ് ടേക്കൺ ആൻഡ് യൂസ്ഡ് ആസ് ഇറ്റ് ഇസ്, ബട്ട് യു ക്യാൻ സംടൈംസ് ഇൻഫ്ലെക്ട് ദം ബൈ മേക്കിംഗ് ദം പ്ലൂറൽ എറ്റ്സെട്ര. സോ പിസ്സ, പിസ്സാസ്, ചപ്പാത്തി, ചപ്പാത്തീസ് എന്നൊക്കെ നമുക്ക് വേണമെങ്കിൽ ആഡ് ചെയ്യാം. Now the final method of word formation is called coining. Coining new words. So new words are coined to refer to new concepts that have recently evolved. എപ്പോഴാണ് പുതിയ വാക്കുകൾ ഉണ്ടായി വരുന്നത്? ഇപ്പോൾ ഒരു പുതിയ കോൺസെപ്റ്റ് ഉണ്ടായി അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരു പുതിയ ഇൻവെൻഷൻ ഉണ്ടായി, ആൻഡ് ദർ ഇസ് നോ വേർഡ് ഓൾറെഡി എക്സിസ്റ്റിംഗ് ടു റെഫർ ടു ദാറ്റ്. പുതിയൊരു ഐഡിയ, അതിനെ നമുക്ക് എക്സ്പ്രസ് ചെയ്യാൻ വാക്കുകളില്ല, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ പുതിയ എന്തെങ്കിലും ഒരു സാധനം ഇൻവെൻഷൻ ഉണ്ടായി അതിനെ ഡിസ്ക്രൈബ് ചെയ്യാൻ നമുക്ക് വാക്കുകളില്ല. അപ്പോൾ ന്യൂ ഇൻവെൻഷൻസ്, ഐഡിയാസ്, ഡിസ്കവറീസ്, കോൺസെപ്റ്റ്സ് അങ്ങനെയുള്ളതൊക്കെ ഉണ്ടായി വരുമ്പോൾ ആണ് നമ്മൾ പുതിയ വാക്കുകൾ, ന്യൂ വേർഡ്സ് കോയിൻ ചെയ്യുന്നത്. കോയിൻ ചെയ്യുക എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ പുതിയൊരു വാക്ക് ഉണ്ടാക്കുക. Some prefixes are commonly used to create new words. For example, in modern English or in contemporary English, the prefix e is used to create new words that are connected with the internet and the use of the internet, such as e-banking, e-commerce, e-cards, e-learning, and of course our ubiquitous email. ഇതെല്ലാം ഓൾറെഡി എക്സിസ്റ്റിംഗ് വേർഡ്സ് ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. ബാങ്കിങ്, കോമേഴ്സ്, ലേണിംഗ്, മെയിൽ, ഇതൊക്കെ ഓൾറെഡി എക്സിസ്റ്റിംഗ് വേർഡ്സ് ആണ്. പക്ഷെ അതിൻ്റെ കൂടെ ഇ എന്നുള്ള പ്രിഫിക്സ് ചേർക്കുമ്പോൾ ആ വേർഡ് ഇറ്റ് ബിക്കംസ് സംതിങ് എൽസ് ഓൾ ടുഗെദർ. സാധാരണ ബാങ്കിങ് മെൻറ്റ് ഗോയിങ് ടു എ ബാങ്ക് ആൻഡ് ഇൻവോൾവിങ് യുവർ സെൽഫ് ഇൻ സം cash transactions or some banking transactions, but e-banking means you can do the same thing through the internet. So when the internet came and this particular invention called e-banking came, or e-commerce or e-learning, which we are doing right now, when these new things came about, we needed new words to refer to them. So such new words are coined in such conditions, and this process of coining new words, process of creating new words is called coining, and such newly coined words are called neologisms. Logos means word, neo means new, so neologisms, new words. Thus, to sum up the contents of this particular video lesson, we have many methods of word formation in English, and these are some of the most important methods. The first one is affixation, and affixation is of two types, inflection and derivation. Then there is compounding, where you don't add an affix to a stem, you rather add two or more stems together. Then in conversion, you don't add any affixes, you don't make any change in the form of the word, but instead the word which was initially used as one part of speech is converted in its usage to a different part of speech. There is abbreviation, which basically means shortening the word, and there are different types of abbreviations like clipping, acronyms, etc. Then there is blending, where you first clip two words. You use half of one word and half of the other word, you blend them together, you mix them together, you put them together to create a new word. That is blending. Back formation is when you take a longer word and you remove a part of that word which looks like an affix but actually isn't. Then borrowing is when you acquire loan words from a different language, and coining is when you create new words in order to refer to new ideas or concepts or inventions. So that's all about word formation for now. Thank you.